Have you ever wondered why we have the moon? You might think that the moon doesn't affect a lot of things. There is actually a lot that the moon affects, and there is a lot of ways that the moon is important to living things on Earth. The moon affects the tides, nighttime, human sleep patterns, animals' behavior, and the Earth's rotation. Without the moon, the Earth wouldn't rotate normally because the moon helps with its gravity. Millions of years ago, the Earth didn't have a moon. The moon was created by a collision of a bigger planet with the Earth. Scientists believe that Earth's day lasted between 6 to 18 hours before the moon formed. The moon's gravitational pull slows the Earth's orbit down to 24 hours. And the moon's gravity holds Earth's tilt in a stable way. Without that, the Earth wouldn't rotate as usual. As a result, clouds would move faster and the weather would change, and that would cause a harsher environment. Researchers say that it depends on how high the moon is, and when it's high, it makes a big difference in what amount of rain falls. The night would be completely dark. It would affect animals too because prey would have more opportunities to hide, and animals that hunt would get less food. As you can see, the moon is important to many different things. You might be wondering, what would it be like without the moon? Well, very different. One example is that because the night is completely dark, our eyes would slowly get better night vision, and also, because the moon affects the ocean, there would be almost no high tides to be seen. And we would have shorter days. The moon's gravity holds the Earth in a stable way. Without that, it would wobble around back and forth. Without the moon, seasons would be different because without the gravity from the moon, Earth's tilt would change. The tilt would become extreme, that would cause severe seasons, or the tilt would decrease, which would cause that we almost can't see any seasons. So as you can see, without the moon, it would be very different. Does the moon affect sleep? Researchers say that the moon's phases affect sleep. One example is that on a full moon, the light of the moon is about 12 times lighter than it usually is. So that means because of the energy coming from the light of the moon, your body might think that it needs less sleep. And also, researchers say that on a full moon it takes longer to fall asleep, and you might also dream more. If the light of the moon affects your sleep, it might influence your mood too. And because our human body is mostly water, and the moon affects the ocean, it might affect us. So as you can see, the full moon affects sleep. Does the moon affect the ocean? When the Earth moves, it causes tides. Tides are important because they can change landforms of Earth. High tide happens at the part of the Earth that faces the moon. As the Earth rotates, it depends on what part is closer to the moon, and then on that part is high tide. Because the moon's gravity is stronger on that part that's closer to the moon. And on the opposite side where high tide is, it's also high tide, but at the other two sides it's low tide. So as you can see, the moon doesn't just affect humans and animals, it also affects the ocean. How has the relationship between people and the moon changed? In ancient times, people used to believe that the moon was a powerful god. The Romans called their goddess Diana, and in Greece they used to call their goddess Selene. And some American Indian tribes believed that the sun and the moon were sister and brother gods. Some legends were told that the moon looked like a man's face, man in the moon. They also believed that the man in the moon was imprisoned there for stealing. When the moon was not visible because it was in complete shadow, the people in ancient times were confused because they thought the moon was gone. And then they were confused again because the moon reappeared. As you can see, people in ancient times thought the moon was something else than we do today. Overall, the moon affects a lot of things on Earth, including aspects of our daily lives, and it would be different if we wouldn't have one.